Alright, welcome back to the channel. In this video what we're going to do is we're going to do a quick review of my Imperial Japanese fleet, take a look at it now that it's painted, and I'm going to give a review in terms of the models and the contents of the boxes and what I think of that so far. I haven't played the game in depth yet, so I'm not going to review the game yet, but I am going to review all of those contents, give you a little bit of what I think you as your first purchases might be in terms of the Imperial Japanese fleet, and then we'll talk about a little bit where I'm heading in terms of victory at sea for the near future. So let's start out. We're gonna take a look here at my painted Imperial Japanese fleet. This was a blast to paint. It was really fun. I am very happy with that, how everything came out. The carrier, the Zuikaku, I did try by hand going with the box art paint job. It looks great from 2 feet above the table when you're looking at it, which is what I think is important. The closer you get to it, the more imperfections you see, but that's the way it is. The flights are really easy to paint. A lot of consistency in the paint jobs with the Japanese fleet. Very standardized. When I get to painting the American fleet, you're going to see a lot of different paint jobs. So we'll start looking at some individual ships. So this is the Yamato. This was an individual expansion. This is what pretty much got me into the game in general. If you've watched my previous videos, you'll see why. I love this ship. It looks fantastic. I love the paint job. Very big ship. Very nice. Then we have, so this is the Congo. This is the battleship that you get in the Imperial Japanese Navy Starter. I'm really happy with this battleship as well, and honestly I see myself playing this one a lot more than the Yamato just because points reasons and things like that. That's a great ship. And then we'll look here. So this is the carrier. You can see a little bit of the imperfections, but that's because this is kind of close up on it, and you can see some flights there, some destroyers in the background. So while I talk to you, I'm just going to bring it back to the Yamato. And so what do I have so far in the game for the Imperial Japanese Navy? So I have half of the 2-player starter is the Japanese fleet. I have the Imperial Japanese Navy starter box, and I have the Yamato. The 2 expansions that are currently out, if you're watching this down the road, currently the only other expansions that are available at my retail store would be the subs and MTVs and the Akagi aircraft carrier. Currently there are no extra flights for the game available retail. I find that odd that we're adding additional carriers and you don't have the flights for them. Sure, you can proxy your flights, that works, but I like to immerse myself in the game. That takes you out of the immersion a little bit by proxying things. So I would have preferred that Warlord had released flights before a second carrier, but that's neither here or there. The flights are coming. Hopefully they'll be announcing or releasing those soon. As far as what you get in the contents with those 3 things, you get a ton. You just saw my fleet. It's more than enough for me to get started and could try all kinds of variety in the game. You get 2 different types of destroyers, which is nice. You get 3 Fubuki class destroyers in the 2-player starter, and then you get 3 Kagero class destroyers in the Imperial Japanese Navy starter. You end up with 4 Mogami cruisers, which not super happy with that. There's a lot of cruisers they could have picked from. Why we got 4 different Mogami cruisers, I'm not sure. You get 2 in each of the packs. would have liked to seen just a little bit more variety there. Now the sculpts are all slightly different, so that's good, but it's a lot of just um, the same cruiser and the same statistics rehashed over and over again. Um, I get it's easier for them, but I would have liked a little bit more variety. Now you did get two other single cruisers, so we got a Furitaka cruiser and an Agano light cruiser. So that's good. That's actually a little bit more variety than the U.S. fleet, which we'll talk about at a future time. And then we got two battleships. We got the Congo and the Yamato, which we talked about briefly, and then we get the Shokaku class aircraft carrier, the Zuikaku. Um, all fantastic models. I can't recommend the models themselves enough. The game looks great, but the models are really nice once you get them all painted up, and the painting of them wasn't all that difficult. Just make sure you clean everything, you prime everything after they're assembled, and then just take your time with the painting. There's not a lot of real fine detail work here. There's a little bit here or there, but you can kind of do what works for you. You don't have to go into all of the really minute details of every single ship. But that's it. I really like the models. I can't wait to get the US Navy assembled and painted. I have a lot of work to go with that. In terms of what you're going to see from me in the near future, videos are going to slow down. If you've been watching these videos as they've been releasing, things are going to slow down just a little bit. I may have another painting video that I will do fairly soon, and I will do a wrap up once I have the US Navy painted, but that's going to take some time. It took me a couple of weeks to get the Japanese Navy painted. I would expect just as much time, depending on my life and everything else and how that goes. I would expect a similar amount of time to get the US Navy done. And after I do that, then I'm going to start doing videos on how to play the game and doing some battle reports. And that's really exciting to me to get to that point. Once I get to that point, then I'll probably fill out whatever expansions for those two navies that I don't have yet. There's the two for the Imperial Japanese Navy, and then I believe there are three currently. There's an extra battleship available for the US that, for whatever reason, so kind of unbalanced releases sometimes. Actually, a lot, it seems like, with Warlord. They don't necessarily have balanced releases. Some of that is because the US Navy was huge by the end of the war. They have so many different carriers and things like that. Japanese Navy also has a lot of stuff. Some of the other navies, like the Italian Navy and the Kriegsmarine, might not have quite as much variety, so they don't have quite the list of ships to work from in order to create new content for us. But I'm really happy with the game so far. I'm very happy that I purchased it. If you're considering it, what I would consider getting first, if you're interested in the US or the Japanese Navy, get the 2-player starter. It's well worth it if you're going to play one of those two navies. If you're not going to, get the starter box for the navy that you would like to play, and probably the rule book, so that you have tokens and stuff that you can use. And learn the game with just the starter for your navy. There's more than enough stuff there. Now, usually each navy has a couple of really big, historically relevant named ships, like the Yamato, like the Missouri for the US, the Hood, the Bismarck, that kind of stuff. Those ships all comes as individual expansions. If you just have to have one of those big historically relevant battleships, go get one. I did. That's why I wanted to get into the game, was for the Yamato. So I got the Yamato. I actually got that before I got the Imperial Japanese Navy starter. So you know, I encourage you to try the game. It seems like a lot of fun for me, and it does seem like, as opposed to some games that I play, it does seem like a game that I could probably have fun with, just playing two navies myself, and playing back and forth myself. I think I could have fun with that, but I do have at least one or two friends who are interested in playing, so I'm hoping to have them over and have battle reports with an opponent, which would be great. So thank you very much. Keep on watching. We'll be back fairly soon, and we'll see you next time.